Hello once again. I'm sorry about that. But with technology, you never know what's going to happen. So I try to plan for the worst and hope for the best. I'm back and we're going to finish this up. So if you saw it on Facebook, here we go. Going to jump in right where I left off. We were talking about trans fats. Trans fat is a little stinker of a guy. What happens is what they'll do is if there's a minimum, that's where I was at, sorry. There's a minimum amount that, for example, let's say it's 0.5. As long as their product stays below 0.5, they can label it trans fat free. So sometimes what they'll do to get around that is make the serving size smaller so they can market it as trans fat free. That might be one of the reasons for the push to slow down on the new nutrition labels, because of what I just said about the tuna. The fact the tuna, if it's the whole can, you can't really play with that. So that's an idea there. Saturated fat. Saturated fat is something else that I wanted to go over. Saturated fat, the dietary guideline for saturated fat is I'm reading this one. The dietary guideline for saturated fat is 10%. With saturated fat, if you are eating the standard American diet, I would highly recommend staying 10% or under. That's 10% a day. I would stay under that if at all possible. With the new, I'm not sure if everybody's heard in the news lately, they're kind of cracking down on coconut oil, or there's been a lot of, it's been in the news basically. Coconut oil is fat, and there's a saturated fat component. I'm not sure if it's all saturated fat or what, but it is a saturated fat. In this case, coconut oil is a little different. It still is a fat, and you can eat too much of a good thing too, again with numeracy. So things to think about with that. Get a baseline, get tested, get a baseline where your levels are at. That's a biometric screening at least. If you don't know what that is, email me and we can go over it then. It's always good to have a baseline of tests, and then that way you can work with your doctor on finding if that 10% is your standard too, if you are just doing it with healthier oils such as avocado, olive oil, and the coconut oil. I think there's also, I think I said olive oil. If those are what you're doing, I personally think I exceed the saturated fat probably within olive oil and avocado oil. I don't know for sure, but it depends. I don't do that every day, and that doesn't necessarily make a difference. That's why I said get labs, get a baseline, find out where you're at. We can go from there. Cholesterol, I think, is a funny little note that I thought of. Not that I thought of, but that I just figured something out the other day. Maybe everybody else knows this, but I don't. Cholesterol, again, there's two sources. Your body makes all the cholesterol that you need, and other cholesterol comes from animal products. So if somebody is vegan or they are dairy free, and you don't understand some of the ingredients, you can always check to see if there's cholesterol in it. That might make, an easier way for you to double check. Sugars on the new labels, I love this. They're going to have the regular sugar that they normally have here, the sugars, and then they're going to include added sugar, which I really like, because if you're looking at a bag of fruit, it's going to say sugar, whatever it's going to say, but then you don't really know if they added anything, even though they say they didn't. This would tell you if they added sugar. They'd have to disclose that. Another fact, I guess, would be the dietitian that taught my class. She said the magic number for the dietary fiber is that it should be 20%. This one, it has 0. So out of the two, if you were picking one of the two, this one just is awesome everywhere except for maybe the sugar. This, for me, this would not happen. I do not eat added sugar. Fiber, I think I covered everything on there. We're going to keep moving on. Technological difficulties or not. Did you know? See, here's a food label that is a newer food label. And I've noticed that a lot of the companies that have fewer products in them, that they are looking to seem that they have the new labels on already. I've already seen a lot of new labels. The first item listed in the ingredients section, I don't have the ingredients on this one, but we'll get to a slide that has the ingredients on it, because that's my favorite. The first item labeled is the biggest quantity within the package. So like for shampoo, not that you want to eat shampoo, but for example, shampoo, almost every, and I think even professional shampoos, it's water. Whatever is the most that's what has in it. And then it goes on from there. So if it's an expensive one like crab and it's the last ingredient, corn has a lot of different names. I'm sure most of you out there know about high-fructose corn syrup. There are tons of other ones. This website I found a long time ago, and I love it. None of us have a corn allergy. I have just noticed that with having baselines of knowing the foods that we do eat, when we introduce corn into our diet, our lifestyle, it gets messed up. Like, we get messed up. I see a lot of behavioral changes in my children, myself, and my husband. So we just choose not to eat corn. This is, I believe, a lady who obviously has a corn allergy, and I personally think that's important. If somebody has an allergy, they're going to know a lot about what's going on. Now, having said that, this list is 3 pages the last time I checked it. It can be very overwhelming, but she has a lot of good stuff on her website. I don't necessarily agree with everything she has on there, but there's some good things to think about. Just definitely think about, take to your doctor, talk to a health coach. If you do have a corn allergy, I strongly recommend taking this list to your doctor and talk to them about it. I just like having testimonies from other people that have gone down that road and have had to deal with it. here's my new grammar section. Again, I'm trying to make this as general for everybody as we possibly can. Here we go. GMO means genetically modified organism. Yeah, no. That's just for me, it's a no. Organic, gluten-free, natural flavors, and MSG. GMO. It is not mandatory to label. I did have a link on here that talks about, goes more into very deep detail with that. 90%, I'm being generous on the 90%. It's actually higher than that. But depending on the source you find, sometimes it's 93, sometimes it's 97, sometimes it's 94. So I just made it 90 because I haven't found one under that. Here is a product, and we're going to go over it really quickly. This also reminds me of my favorite tip with checking out labels. My tip is that if it's anything, if you think about it, when you make your own food, you usually use 10 ingredients or less. So I don't buy any product more than 10 ingredients. I probably wouldn't buy a product with 10 ingredients. It all depends upon the ingredients. This one, when I was going over my notes and preparing for this, I noticed that my cholesterol theory doesn't hold true, but I think I have the answer to it. I don't know. I'm not the expert. This is just my own personal opinion. This literally says it on the package, partially produced with genetic engineering. That means genetically modified. There's obviously way more than 10 ingredients on this list, some of which are soy and corn. Vegetable shortening is corn. I'll go through some other things that are corn. Dextrose is corn. It is like the scientific name of like glucose too, I think. I don't know. I can't remember that one. But dextrose means a lot of things, put it that way. The words get confusing. This one does say natural flavors. We'll talk about that in a little bit. More cornstarch and so on. But there's no cholesterol, even though there's whey in it. And yeah. Saturated fat. So this one cake is over the daily limit. Another sad fact is that my best example is smoking for this fact. Back in the day when doctors recommended smoking, there were still people that never smoked. So over time, they've been able to do studies on the people that didn't smoke compared to the people that did smoke, which is why they now found out that smoking is bad. So the problem with GMO testing is that they're never going to really have a clean sample. Or where are they going to find a clean sample of people that have never had genetically modified food? I'm sure at some point in my life, I've had genetically modified food. There even might be food right now that I'm consuming that I don't know because there's no fair labeling in that. Gluten-free. Huge, huge bandwagon here. This article, after I read it, I thought it was quite interesting. Back to what I was saying before with the grains, that the medical community doesn't want us to skip food groups. I'm thinking of the nutritional benefit, so we're not deficient. This I think was either quoted from a doctor or a doctor had his 2 cents in it or whatever. Putting it on here to have a variety of ideas and different people's voices. The reason why I put it on here mainly was because of the the deficiencies, what they are concerned about being deficient in. If you're going to go gluten-free and you are not told that by a doctor, please find a nutritionist. Please find somebody that can steer you in the right direction so that you do not become deficient in anything. Here are some other things that people don't understand. People come up to me all the time, oh, well, you're gluten-free, right? Well, yeah, but corn's gluten-free too, and I don't eat corn. There's no gluten in corn. Here's a better gluten-free product. Sorry, I was thinking while I was doing this. Oh, I can't think and do this at the same time. I want to make sure I haven't skipped any of my notes. The technical difficulties. It's hard to concentrate, but we'll make it through. Okay, so like I said, this one is a better product of a gluten-free product. Better make sure that you guys can see me as you can see me. Okay. So this one says gluten-free oats on it. So again, I put that in your notes. I don't want to sit here and go over that. I want to try to make this as time sensitive as possible. I didn't have time to find a lower quality gluten-free product, but this is what we have. So what some manufacturers will do is they will put, sometimes taking out the gluten, or taking just the gluten out, it's going to taste bad. So they up the sugar, they up the salt, they up both, or they add something possibly genetically modified to it to taste better. This one, like I said, is more of what I would call a better option of a gluten-free option. You have oats in it. That's going to give you some good dietary fiber. This one is only 8%. That is the first label. There is raisins and bananas and sugar in there. So there's going to be some sweetness. As long as these two are talking to each other, that's what I call it, and they're not conflicting with each other, and you are okay with the ingredients in it, excuse me. For example, canola oil is another name for corn. So right there, I wouldn't, or rapeseed oil or vegetable oil. Those are all names for corn. My top 3 ones that I check for sure. Natural flavors is written on here. That can mean a whole host of things. I put an amazing site in the notes for you. I put other helpful info on gluten and inflammation, and just another educational piece on that. That has to do with that. Natural flavors can mean anything. So I would strongly suggest in this case, if it didn't have canola oil in it and I wasn't allergic to oats, there's still sugar in it. I don't do any. If it says the word sugar, I personally do not do sugar. The sugar is, if it's labeled sugar, it's white refined sugar at best. So I leave that alone. Just for my own personal medical reasons, I don't do sugar. Sugar and gluten both cause inflammation, and I don't want to be inflamed. If you watch the video that I have in the notes with my daughter and the picture, what I was mainly showing you is more how inflamed my body was. I looked puffy. Once I got rid of that, I lost a lot of weight quickly. I think it had more to do with the inflammation than anything. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Organic. Here's some myths and facts. Organic, everybody's always saying it's expensive. That's what they mentioned in that upper one about gluten-free, that one by the doctor. was saying that it's expensive. Yes, it is expensive. It looks like more money up front. But with all things in life, you get what you pay for. It does look expensive up front. But you can consider how much you're paying right now in medical bills and prescriptions and loss of work and so on and so forth. Is that organic apple really that much more expensive? We don't make a whole lot of money, and we have not had a problem buying high quality whole foods. Here is another invert sugar. Could mean corn. It could mean a whole bunch of stuff. These little asterisks, I guess, on this one means it's organic. Again, this is getting to the point where it's more than 10 ingredients. So, and the natural flavor pops up again. I don't care if it's got a star by it. If it's something that you're really excited about and that you like that and you really want to know what that is, you can call the company. A lot of companies have told me what that means, and the ones that refused, I don't buy their products. That's my personal choice. This product is actually a pretty well-known company. I'm not going to say who it is. It is a box of macaroni and cheese, I believe. So again, this one, the saturated fat, is at 10%. That is for an adult. I'm not 100% sure on what it's supposed to be for a child, and all these numbers are for adults. There are equations to do that you can do, and that's something that somebody can help you with. I could help you with that, I think, or I could point you in the right direction, or I could give you the equations to do yourself to find out how many calories that you need. You're given a standard. The 2,000 calories is a standard. If you're a super small person and you're very sedentary, that might be too much. And if you are like on the ball with, getting that and you're not losing weight, that could be a huge thing that you're eating too many calories. And we all know that if we eat too many calories, that's a way to gain weight. So again, this is all general information. So if you want to find out things that are more personal to you, you have to find the resources and get in touch with the people that can help you figure that out. MSG. Most people know that MSG is not the best thing to be eating. I had just recently watched this docuseries about cancer, and I'm going to read my notes exactly because I took these notes from what they had talked about and I didn't want to mess it up. So, and I do have a link in the notes. It may not be on this slide, but it's in the slide deck about MSG. It's the G part. It's the G that is the most important thing to be concerned about. The G stands for glutamate. It is an excitotoxin, and among other things, glutamate can actually increase not only your risk for cancer, but can help it to grow more rapidly. Cancer feeds on glucose and glutamate. These are the ones I have listed are the top sources of glutamate. But by law, they can still package the product as no MSG. Be extra careful about soy. It is naturally high in glutamate. I believe on one of the other slides too that I think the word hydrolyzed is written on there too. So here's a product that looks pretty good. Right? Here's I wrote this because I didn't want to infringe on any copyrights. So no, it says no preservatives, no artificial coloring, no artificial flavoring, non-GMO. Right? That's what the ease of use labeling tells you. So, you're going to just grab that, right? No food is inherently bad or good. Again, we're looking at, this is one crepe. It already meets 10% for saturated fat. It's got to have some dairy in it, probably. Animal product. I can't see what the sodium says on there. Again, this is telling you, this is what I was telling you about. This is telling you how many calories. Well, what happens if you're lower than that? Or if you're a child? This is set for an adult. Now, this is what I would do, because again, we're going to go off of my information that I've given you so far. I can't have wheat, sugar, or eggs, or concentrated butter would be dairy. And salt. If it just says salt, the only thing that I personally purchase and eat that has salt labeled in it is my cow and goat cheese. It's hard enough finding or goat cheese and sheep cheese, I'm sorry. It's hard enough finding that by itself, more or less trying to find it with sea salt. I only eat sea salt or Himalayan salt, pink Himalayan salt. I do not do table sugar, or table sugar. I don't do table sugar either. I don't do table salt. And again, this one has sugar. Also has soy in it, and the natural flavorings. Natural flavoring. I can't talk anymore. So this is a great article on, are there good foods and bad foods? No, it's more of beneficial versus non-beneficial. So for me, this would not be beneficial. And then here again, the dietary fiber is only 2%. But again, it's better than 0. So I bet you're asking me now, Sandy, what do I eat then? Whole foods God made that man didn't mess up. I mentioned that before. Back to the organic thing. The organic slide that I had, you're processing all those organic ingredients. I think we'll scoot back up there really quick. You're processing all these organic ingredients. You're losing the nutrient value in them because of the processing. When you heat something, you lose more of the nutrients. Here's what I do eat. Here's some products that have labels. Banana doesn't have a label. Apple doesn't have a label. I eat, besides fresh fruits and veg, sometimes red meat and lots of fish. That's what I eat. Here are some other things that you didn't see on the other labels. This is a dark glass green bottle of avocado oil. This part here you didn't see in the other labels. This one says polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fat. Those are good fats. I have those in the notes. You can look those up on what those mean and why those are important. Again, this I'm just popping it on here. This one says vitamin A, vitamin C, iron, and calcium. If those see, this is just oil, so they're not going to have that in there. Maybe we'll skip over to this one and we'll talk about that there. Again, this is a bag of pistachio nuts. And again, the ingredients. One ingredient is avocado oil, because this is avocado oil. Now we're on this bag. This one again, polyunsaturated mono nuts that God made. Man didn't mess up. These are just nuts. Maybe they did add some sodium to it, but I don't know. I have to double check. I think this one does have sea salt, because I wouldn't eat it if it didn't. Or it didn't have any salt at all. It might, but it still has sodium. So I'm not sure if pistachio nuts have. I'm going to have to check the ingredients on that one. See, I do check pretty much every single time to make sure they didn't change nothing on me. But see, this is what I'm saying again. This, and if you have this and the ingredients, then you double check and they both say the same thing, that's important. Back to something else I was going to bring up later. Was like different, like let's say you have a granola bar, we'll call it a granola bar, or some kind of like health bar of some kind. And if it's not one thing, like this is pistachios, so I honestly believe that the pistachios themselves have 2% vitamin A and 4% calcium, and the thiamine and magnesium. Like these, I believe that those are the nutrients that are in the pistachios. Another fun thing about the dietary fiber, this is another one, the dietary fiber. This is peanut butter. I think the serving size is either a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons. That's a lot of dietary fiber in my book for peanut butter. I don't know if all dietary fiber is equal, like if you have peanut butter and nuts, because I mean, even this one has 12%. So if I had, you know, if I had celery with peanut butter, this peanut butter, and then I had this, that would totally take care of the 20% dietary fiber plus with the celery. That would totally take care of the dietary fiber for the day for me. I don't know if a dietitian would say that you need more or less. You do have to be careful with fiber and go slowly, otherwise you can get constipated. So don't just be like, I'm gonna do fiber and do a whole lot. You can definitely be in pain, be in some good pain there. So again, this is just pistachios, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna double check. But here again, dry roasted organic peanuts and sea salt. The key takeaways. Try to look for, if you're going to buy a packaged product for whatever reason, look for 10 ingredients or less is key. Look up the ingredients you don't know. If there's some crazy words on there, I just saw one on the other day. And my son's like, Mom, can I eat this? I'm like, I don't know what that is. Can you look it up? He looked it up, and he went through a lot of the things, but one of them was, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything on that slide. One of them has the same ingredient in dog food. I have a problem with that. So I told him he could pick what he wanted to do with it. He chose to eat 3 pieces of it. Not for me, but I told him he could have 3 if he wanted, but it was his decision. I think I touched upon sources, like you want the source of things. That was from the other slide. I'll go over that quick. You want to know the sources. Like with these 3 products, I would like to have maybe a better source than this one, but this is the top source that I can find right now, and that one's good enough. These 2, it depends on thing. Like for example, olive oil. I am very picky, and I could do a 3-hour presentation on olive oil alone, probably. It has to be amazing quality. Ask why. That's where I am on the next slide here. Teaching me role models. Start a new ham starting. My kids are always, and I hope my grandkids will always be constantly reading labels. Like I hope at some point that somebody calls me and like, Grandma, why do you always have to read the labels? Probably not, because they'll probably know why we read the labels. Maybe that will be my ham story. If we don't cut the ends off, we just, anyway, I'm gonna make this way too long otherwise. Oh, here we go. The red flags. From my understanding, for me, what I'm gonna do, companies up until 2 weeks ago had till next July to be compliant, and smaller companies had till 2019. By 2019 in July, me personally, if there's a new product with an old label, that's going to be a red flag for me. That's just my own personal opinion, because I would want to know why they couldn't have a new label on a new product. I would have a problem with that. I personally do not eat ingredients that I cannot pronounce, or if I can't figure out what they are on the internet. I don't. I believe, I don't know for sure, but for example, like hydration drinks and candy would probably have numbers and colors listed. I don't think 100 years ago they had those colors, and I'm pretty darn sure God did not make our bodies to digest colors and numbers. That's a whole thing with toxins. I can do a webinar on toxins if anybody's interested. Oh my goodness, toxins are crazy. And back to the vitamins that I was showing you, back to here. If this is on a health food bar or whatever, and it's more ingredients, like if there's 3 ingredients, you know what they are, and like let's say they're nuts and cacao and coconut oil. If there's a bar like that, I don't know if they make that, but it looks, I mean, there's some logic in it, some reasonable critical thinking or whatever you want to call it. Some of them, when they have the fortification process, could be that they spray them on. Again, with the ham story, what are they spraying? Like, okay, that's a vitamin, and it's technically the same, but where is it coming from? It's man-made. Our bodies are not meant to digest man-made products. They were designed to digest whole foods. So just question where the vitamins are coming from. Question where your meat is coming from. I don't want to make it all about questioning, but think of the why. The other thing I wanted to just throw out there is this is super overwhelming, and I know. It's a lot of stuff to digest in one time. So just take one thing. Do the 10 ingredient thing, or just get used to reading the labels. Whatever you want, just take one thing and work with that. That's my 2 cents for that. Are you excited to go grocery shopping now? If the answer is yes, I am glad that you found value in today's presentation. If you're overwhelmed, I have a couple more slides to go over, so you can check that out. You can keep in touch with me in my new Facebook group, Simple Life Steps with Sandy. If you haven't already if you haven't already joined, I'm talking too much. I encourage you to join. I will be posting other free classes and other fun things and recipes that I do recommend with the ingredients that I do use. This is the interactive hands-on time. Unfortunately, I'm sure you're all watching this recording because my webinar decided to stop working. So I had to put together the first part that was recorded with people and this part. So I'm going to try to do this without anybody. I am a hands-on person. So I'm going to try to do this via Facebook. Whenever you end up watching this, I would love it. It would probably make more sense if you hopped on the Facebook group that I just mentioned, than just to do it on my personal page, because most of you that are out there are either friends with me on Facebook, but I suggest jumping on. I'd love to continue this conversation on Facebook in my Facebook group. If you've watched I would assume you've watched the whole webinar by now. Just type in there some things that you found out, any questions you might have, and I will be in there answering questions from this. That'll be my Q&A thing I didn't get around to doing because technology didn't work. So this part was supposed to be about just, typing in anything that shocked you that's on your item that you didn't realize. Anything else that was interesting, basically from your item, now that you're looking at it. Is there anything super interesting on it that you didn't realize? Or I'm going to keep going. a little frazzled, but we're going to get her done. So what is a health coach? Health coaching, also referred as wellness coaching, is a process that facilitates healthy, sustainable behavior change by challenging a client to listen to their inner wisdom, identify their values, and transform their goals into action. That's what Wikipedia says. I think I'm a by the facts kind of girl. It's a change supporter. I'm gonna take a quick drink since we're on the thank you page. This ends the educational portion of my webinar slides. I am also offering anyone that sees this slide deck or slide presentation, I'm offering anybody a free 20-minute consultation. That is a clickable link to my online booking website. You know, we don't have to play phone tag, email tag, or anything like that. I'm going to go through some health different resources going further. If you wanted to go further with help, and if this was like extremely overwhelming, I would be happy to help you in that. This is just another bonus that I'm offering for you supporting me and coming out and checking out this webinar. And this would be a great next step. If you like the information and you want to take it farther, or if you're completely lost and you're just like, I just need help, this is a great opportunity to jump on. Right now I have certain times set up in here. If there's a time that doesn't, if the times don't work for you and you really want to do this, please email me. Don't hesitate to email me. I'm super flexible. And this is a new system, so there's no place for you to, there's a message area. In that message area, could you type how you would like to do this, either via phone, video conference, or in person. I can do either three of those. We can set something up, so just a location that you would like. So then so it's one less email that we have to go back and forth. This kid is so cute. So here's where I'm going to go over coaching. I would love to talk to each and every one of you, and I'm going to explain the reasons why. When somebody offers me a free 20-minute consultation, I'm always like, okay, they're going to sell me something, or I feel obligated to do it because they've just given me something free. And it just always seems like there's obstacles to even doing something free. I am not kidding you. This is no obligations at all whatsoever. Coaching sounds expensive, right? I thought so too. But here again, we're going to break down the ham story again. If you consider how much time and energy it would take you to research and sift through websites, books, webinars, and test out products yourself, coaching at any price is a steal. A coach is really an interactive, loving, warm, condensed version of a sum of all of that. That's what I call an easy button. So I would have obstacles popping in my head right now, such as, but I'm really busy. Sorry, I'm like getting ahead of myself on these slides. I knew somebody that was I thought she was a coach of some sort. And I'm like, this is just going to be expensive and complicated and time consuming. I didn't want to schedule one more thing. I did my research on health coaching before I started it. I found this amazing coach who's been coaching for 6+ years and having great results. I liked her approach. It's very streamlined, to the point, has a purpose, and it has a goal. I am a very loving and helpful person. I am not going to handhold somebody for 6 months. My longest course is 3 months, and I am teaching you to not need me. I am teaching you to be food literate. I am teaching you to get the most out of your doctor's visits. I am teaching you strategies, tips, and tricks. Like I said, it's totally customizable, and it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, which is what we have right now. Everybody is treated the same, which is fine, but we are all different. What works for me might not work for you, but we can find what does. This is what I always think sometimes too. Oh, they're really busy, and like they're not going to really have time for me, and I don't really want to bother them. These are the things that I think of. Or what's the catch? I hate sales pitches. I do. I really do. I think they're yucky. So what I'm going to do, so you don't have to worry about that, I'm going to hammer it out right now. The whole sales pitch, it's going to be done super fast. I'm going to give you facts so the air will be clear. Here we go. Fact 1. This is one of my life's passions. I still love hairdressing. I can't do it forever, and it is toxic, which is why I eat the way I do and I live the way I live, so I can do hairdressing longer. I can guarantee you this. And if I ever get cancer, I'm putting hairdressing on the spot. I know that that's probably my top risk factor for getting cancer, because I've eliminated every other one. That's why I'm a health coach. That's why I want to do this. I want to help other people. This is not a job. This is super fun for me, and this is my backup plan from being a hairdresser. So you'll be helping me shine by letting me share my gift that God's given me to do this. This is why the free consultation is so important. You are letting me use the gift God gave me. If I don't have people to coach, then my gift is wasted. There is no pressure, and you're going to find out why. There's no pressure, because I'd be thinking, well, what does she get out of it, right? I already mentioned the online booking, so we don't have to play phone tag. Here's what I get out of it. Besides sharing my gift, you will be helping me out. I am certified through the school I went through, but there is a national consortium, so I call it nationally certified. I don't know if that's the legit title, because the health coaching profession is new. So they're still trying to work all that stuff out. I need to have 50 sessions to even sit to become nationally certified. So it is a win-win situation for everyone. Here is the nitty-gritty details. Again, we can do this in person, virtually, or on the phone, whichever works for you. I'm going to go through these super fast because you can watch this at your leisure and read it over. It is pretty self-explanatory. This is a one-on-one intake review. I would send you something I would send you a form in an email after we talk for the 20 minutes. The 20 minutes is your next step. Your free 20 minutes is your next step. You get to see me, talk to me one-on-one, and see if we jive together, and see if I can even help you. After that, these are the next steps. That's what I'm showing you. I'm showing you a step-by-step process that you get to go how fast you want. And if you want to do 20 minutes and wait a year before you come and jump on this, that is totally fine. This is my retirement thing. This is not. So I want it to be the right speed for you. That is my point. Again, with the mentor that I had found, she's like I said, been doing this for 6+ years. She put this together and has given me permission to give it to my clients and adapt it to my style. So this is her work with the sandy flavor on top. She on her website with just her stuff has valued this book for $45. And you will get that in this. So the price in this is a steal. I'm trying to make it so easy that you can't say no. The next one is, again, it's pretty much the exact same as the first one, but with this one you get 2 weeks of unlimited text and emails. This is great for somebody that is just stuck, like they've done everything they know to do. They feel like they're eating healthy. They maybe want to do a cleanse of some sort, or maybe their doctors mentioned something that they want to do, and they are just like not terrified, but stuck. Stuck is the best word, and they just want a little support, just for a little bit, just that you just need to kick in the pants, basically. And last but not least, this is my favorite, and not because it's the most expensive. This is where I get to teach you what I was saying. I get to teach you those things. There's an extensive, and when I say extensive, it's 17 pages. I don't want to say that to intimidate you. It's that extensive. We're going to get in there, and it's not meant to be nosy. If you have a chronic condition that you do not have help with, I would have loved to have somebody offer me this and teach me this in that picture in 2008. Well, maybe not 2008, because I didn't know. I don't know if my ears were that bad at that point. But there is also, when I say Food Guide plus others, it's probably over $100 value. That was just a good estimate. I have thyroid things. The lady that was my mentor, she has, or had, or whatever, she was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. She did this thyroid guide. We can do it as a lesson. I can just give, if that's something that we find that is important to you, if that is part of your goals, I'm not going to just dump everything on you. We are going to go through what you need right now. If that's something that you're interested in the future, with this package, I'm more than happy to give you that. Like, there are other guides. There's a sleep guide. There's tons of different guides. All my packages include the client agreement, so it literally states out all of your expectations that I expect of you, and all of the expectations that you can have on me. And it is to the T. Like, it is a lot of reading. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of reading. So, but it is crystal clear. And if there's something that is not clear, we can completely discuss it and make it clear. I don't like gray area. If we can find no gray area, that is my main thing there. There's 4 live sessions. They're about 90 minutes. There's one a month. And then I do like to do like a wrap-up session just to make sure that you have a battle plan going forward so that you don't need me anymore. That is my goal. You get unlimited texts and emails. The weekly check-ins I think are great, so that's the accountability feature in there. I am not going to be calling you or emailing you every day saying, hey, are you doing this? Hey, Susie, are you doing this? Hey, Jane, are you doing this? No, I'm going to check in once a week. I think, and some of my customers have mentioned that, hey, I knew that Sandy was calling, or I knew Sandy was going to email me. I wanted something to make sure I had to tell her that I did. That helped progress them, because they're like, oh, I got nothing to say to her. And there is just so much more that I can't even write on here. So it's not super time consuming. We're only going to meet 90 minutes once a month. I'm going to send you an email. You can read that whenever you want and respond to it whenever you want. It's not, and like I said, whatever we need to do to get into that, we can email and chat about, and that's what the 20-minute thing is for too. I am okay with doing group packages. If I find a lot of you wanting to do the same thing and a lot of you want to do something in a group setting, we can set something up. Again, like the thyroid guide, if there's a lot of people, there is the lady that, again, did this thyroid guide. She has showed us how to do it as a group coaching class, or even the food guide. Oops, super sorry. The food guide, I can do a class on just the food guide. I would have to know who's interested, and like I said, I'm not against it, but we would have to like figure that out, like who's interested in it, before I would jump into hammering out the details in it. So that's it. There's no more sales pitch. So the 20-minute thing is just 20 minutes about how I could help you, or what your goals are. Whatever you want to do in the 20 minutes, you already know what health coaching is. I can tell you a little bit more about what we do, or what I do, but I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So now the 20 minutes is just about you. The air is clear. There's no obligation. There will be no sales pitch on that call. I'm going to learn about you, and I get to share my gift with you. This is where we were going to do the Q&A, but once you get to this point, when you're watching the video, please jump on Facebook. I will be on there intermittently all week. If I see it, if I see you post anything, I will respond to you as soon as I can. I've been working on this slide deck for a really long time, and I'm pooped. So I will answer your question as fast as I can, but I wanted to be able to still do that. So I hope if anybody isn't on Facebook that you email me. Please email me. Email me anytime. Anybody out there listening to this, email me. I'll just tell you my email address since I don't think I have it on the slides. It's my name, sandynixon@gmail.com. My website is, again, sandynixon.com. And there's tons of ways to contact me on my website. You can even, I think there's even a spot on there to connect with me on this booking website. So even, I don't even know if you can click on it. This is a newer website, I'm sorry, but you can click on the link and there should be a contact button. You might not even have to sign up to contact me, so that's another way to contact me. Those I might not get to as often. I don't know if they email me, if you send it through that. So again, thank you so much for your time in watching this. It has been amazing doing it, even with technological difficulties. I want to just say God bless you all for watching it, and I hope that you found great, immense value in it. And have a wonderful day.